2024 Volvo XC40 Recharge AWD goes farther, quickly. The dual-motor XC40 rings more miles from the same battery and also gets some chassis tweaks. But it's still absurdly fast. Evolution works at a faster pace in the EV market. It's only 2 years since Volvo's first EV hit the market, but the XC40 Recharge is already getting a substantial upgrade with the arrival of both a new rear-wheel drive version and an upgraded dual-motor all-wheel drive version at the top of the lineup. The same changes are also being applied to the slightly sleeker low-roofed C40 Recharge. We will review the new rear drive powertrain separately because there is plenty to say about the new, improved AWD version. On paper, the differences to the dual motor don't look dramatic, especially as its peak power output remains unchanged at 402 horsepower. But there have been substantive changes behind that headline figure. The previous all-wheel drive version used identical motors front and rear, but for 2024 it switches to a new 255 HP rear motor that Volvo has designed and is building in-house. This is the same unit that will power the front axle of the upcoming X90. Dual motor variants get a new front motor as well, an asynchronous unit that makes a lesser peak of 147 horsepower and is idled when the additional power or traction isn't necessary to boost efficiency. Final EPA numbers aren't yet available, but Volvo's prediction for the dual motor variant is for a combined MPGe of 98, up from 85 MPGe for the 23 model, and 106 MPGe combined for the rear motor XC40. US cars will continue to use the same 75.0 kWh battery as before, although it is likely will soon follow Europe, which is upgrading to a 79.0 kWh unit. That larger battery will be standard in our single-motor version. Yet even with that unchanged battery pack, Volvo predicts the XC40 AWD Recharge will be able to get 254 miles of EPA range, compared to 223 for the outgoing car, while the expected range for the single-motor car is 293 miles. The marginally sleeker C40 Recharge should manage ratings of 257 and 297 miles, respectively. DC fast charging remains at a peak of 150 kilowatts for the 75.0 kWh battery, which is impressive but for the fact the 79.0 kWh unit can now manage 200 kilowatts. There have been some other small changes to sharpen the driving experience. While the dual-motor XC40 Recharge has always been almost comedically quick given its mission in life, our 4.3 seconds 60 miles per hour time made it among the quickest Volvos we had tested. At that point it also had a chassis that struggled with the challenge of keeping the car's considerable mass under tight control. Volvo says that the new version weighs almost exactly the same as the old one, but the car has been given a new rear subframe, softer springs, and revised dampers. These are still passive rather than adaptive but have new valving intended to improve high-frequency response and also ride quality. As with its gasoline-powered siblings, the XC40 Recharge remains an easy car to like, but not one that delivers a finely honed driving experience. The European spec car we drove in Sweden rode on Michelin Cross Climate all-season tires. Depending on wheel size, US market cars will get either 19-inch Continental or 20-inch Pirelli all seasons. Dynamic security is high, with impressive traction and a willingness to launch hard without complaint, and it feels every bit as quick as the previous version did. Yet lateral grip remains limited, and the powertrain's new rearward torque bias has done little to alter the fundamental chassis balance, with understeer easily provoked in tight corners. The all-wheel drive XC40 Recharge feels far happier driven gently. Ride quality does seem to have improved, although with the proviso that Sweden's roads are almost freakishly smooth. The XC40 Recharge rode out speed bumps assuredly and showed good body control over the few undulations we could find, although, as before, it feels obviously heavier than its gas-powered sibling, and it is, by more than 1,000 pounds. It remains a relaxed cruiser with only the hint of wind whisper from the tops of the front doors at highway speeds. Unlike many rivals, the XC40 Recharge doesn't offer a multitude of drive modes. The only switchable parameters are for steering effort, with the softer setting definitely feeling more natural, and selecting a one-pedal mode. This works effectively, although without the ability to vary the level of liftoff regen. The rest of the experience remains very close to the gasoline XC40. The recharge cabin is similarly spacious and finished in a variety of interesting materials. Some of these feel more utilitarian than upmarket, especially the textured plastic pieces in the dash and on top of the door panels, but we loved our sample car's grey cloth fabric seats, which were much nicer to the touch than the optional leather. Luggage space is good, too, with a generous trunk and even a compact front designed to accommodate charging cables. The 2024 XC40 Recharge will be reaching the US in the second half of the year, and pricing is not yet confirmed. As before, it feels like a car with more power and performance than most users are likely to need. It also still feels like an EV that has been created from a gas engine car. With the X90 and the smaller X30, we'll get to discover how much better a battery-powered Volvo can be when it sits on a purpose-built electric architecture.